Then moving down the dashboard, this next part is how to make a taper MD plan, or how to de-prescribe. This is the clinical pathway. So we now know what Judy's priorities are for her medicines, whether she thinks she might be having side effects, what medicine she's on, and any evidence-based tool that's available to try and point to potentially inappropriate medicines for Judy has now been run across all her medications to help us have the conversation with Judy about which medicines we might want to stop. So you'll see here a tab for every one of Judy's medicines. And the next step in the plan is to go through each medicine one by one, and with a conversation with Judy to make a decision on whether we want to think about tapering, reducing the dose, or continuing each medication. So you can see here for alendronate, Judy's on alendronate for osteoporosis. If I want to add a medication recommendation, I'll click this button here. So for Judy, I've looked back at her records, I've had a conversation with her. She's been taking these for 7 years now, so it's likely that she has achieved most of the benefit that she's going to get from this medicine. So this would be a reasonable one to stop. And Judy says that she's really not too bothered about taking medicines for prevention of future illness. She's really more concerned with taking medicines for her current symptoms. We know she has no symptoms from osteoporosis, so we're going to stop the alendronate. So I'm going to select the Stop Without Taper button. I'll be prompted to ask whether we want to monitor anything. In this case, I won't necessarily. Let's say we were stopping a drug for blood pressure. I might want to monitor Judy's blood pressure, so I'll click the Yes button. As soon as I click that, it'll prompt me to ask and decide who's going to monitor, what they're going to monitor, and how often. So if it's an antihypertensive, for example, Judy might monitor with her home blood pressure monitor. She's going to take her blood pressure perhaps once a week. And then we might write down the bottom here any agree criteria where we might think about restarting. So if Judy's blood pressure were to get to 160 systolic, then we would have a conversation of perhaps do we need to restart the medication, or do we need to find an alternate medication. So that's the idea of the taper pause and monitor pathway. It's an ongoing conversation with you and with Judy, and with an agreement at the outset about the conditions under which we might restart the medication that we're stopping or tapering.